What are the essentials to you? What makes cinema?
I think what makes cinema to me, I think ultimately it's something that for some reason stays with you, so that a few years later you could watch it again, or 10 years later you watch it again and it's different.
I came here this evening to honor Marty and his films, even the ones I wasn't in. Because if anybody deserves this award, it's Marty Scorsese, if for no other reason alone but his directing. But also for his love of film and what he's done in the way of honoring film and film preservation.
I look at it in bewilderment because there's not many directors half his age that would have the energy to do it.
Few directors in the history of cinema have demonstrated as profound a connection to their actors as Martin Scorsese. Across his decades-spanning career, the legendary filmmaker has collaborated with some of the most gifted performers of all time, shaping their careers as much as they have shaped his films.
The landscape was talking to me rather than my own vision sometimes of a hectic kind of cutting. I said, no, pull back, take us to another time and place and let's think. And the shots became simpler.
But beyond his most famous on-screen partnerships, Scorsese's admiration extends far and wide, embracing the greats of Hollywood's golden age, the screen legends of his youth, and the rising stars of today. Before he became one of the most influential filmmakers in history, Scorsese was a young cinephile in New York, obsessively watching the work of the actors who would inspire him. One of his earliest idols was the Indian-born actor Sabu, best known for adventure films like The Thief of Baghdad and Jungle Book. He was larger than life to me, Scorsese once reminisced. As a child, I saw him as a heroic figure, an actor with an extraordinary presence. Alongside Sabu, he was mesmerized by the performances of Victor Mature, the American actor who starred in epics like Samson and Delilah, and noirs, such as I Wake Up Screaming. Scorsese later admitted that he admired Mature for his ability to bring unexpected depth to roles that might have seemed purely physical. People underestimated him, he said, but he knew exactly what he was doing. But perhaps no early cinematic experience was as influential as watching the films of Spencer Tracy. There was an effortless power to Tracy's performances, Scorsese once observed. He never overplayed, never seemed false. He simply inhabited his characters. The naturalism and authenticity of Tracy's performances would become a guiding principle in Scorsese's own work with actors. Scorsese's love for classic Hollywood cinema runs deep, and he has frequently cited performers from that era as personal favorites. Barbara Stanwyck, a powerhouse of pre-code and noir films, is among the actors he holds in the highest regard.
Jane in the room was giving him the thermometer and he feels they're just a waste of time. He's returning to his book. He's deeply immersed in it.
She had an extraordinary range, he once said. Whether in Double Indemnity or Stella Dallas, she commanded the screen. Another name he has consistently praised is Marlon Brando, widely regarded as one of the greatest actors of all time.
Now that's how I'm going to clear the table.
Brando changed everything, Scorsese remarked. When you watch On the Waterfront, you're seeing something new, something raw. He was a revolutionary force in acting. While Brando never worked with Scorsese, his influence can be seen in the director's approach to performance, favoring realism, spontaneity, and emotional depth. Scorsese also holds great respect for James Cagney, a performer known for his intensity in films such as White Heat and Angels with Dirty Faces.
Dead. Yeah.
Cagney had this energy, this electricity, he once said. He could be terrifying one moment and utterly charming the next. That duality fascinates me. It is an observation that could just as easily be applied to some of Scorsese's own greatest characters, from Travis Bickle in Taxi Driver to Jimmy Conway in Goodfellas.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
While Scorsese has admired many actors from afar, his greatest impact has come from his direct collaborations. No relationship in his career has been as significant as his partnership with Robert De Niro.
Tell me about De Niro. What does he offer a director?
Well, the versatility and imagination and tons of choices, which is what you want. You don't want to go there in the morning and say, okay, we're doing this line, and we're doing this scene, and let's go from here, and we'll get the master, and we get the close-up, and because it gets very boring. Then you don't want to get up anymore and go, to get anything to get up that early in the morning for.
What did you mean by tons of choices? I mean, he can do the scene 8 times in 8 different
say, look,
ways?
This means something over here. I mean, I could do this if you want, or I had an idea. I had another idea. Let me just try it. I won't even tell you what it is. And great. When he says that, then I shoot, because something explosive happens.
Since first working together on Mean Streets, the two have forged one of the most celebrated director-actor relationships in film history, spanning 10 feature films and 1 short. Bobby and I don't need to talk much, Scorsese has said. We understand each other instinctively. De Niro's performances in Taxi Driver, Raging Bull, Goodfellas, and The Irishman stand among the greatest in cinema history, each a study in intensity, vulnerability, and transformation.
Bob and Al always wanted to do something substantial together, and I had never worked with Al before, and so it was a real pleasure to watch the two of them, particularly in the scene where Frank's character finally has to tell Jimmy there's a serious problem. I don't feel there's like a respect maybe he's suddenly feeling, I think.
Well, almost a camaraderie, because he's saying things that I believe in.
He loses himself in the role, Scorsese observed, and that's rare. A similar, though more recent bond has formed between Scorsese and Leonardo DiCaprio. Since Gangs of New York, DiCaprio has become Scorsese's modern-day muse, appearing in 6 of his films, including The Departed, The Wolf of Wall Street, and Killers of the Flower Moon.
That I never ask my clients to judge me on my winners. I ask them to judge me on my losers because I have so few.
Leo is relentless, Scorsese said. He pushes himself beyond his limits. That kind of commitment is something you don't see every day. Alongside De Niro and DiCaprio, Harvey Keitel was another key player in Scorsese's early years. From Mean Streets to The Last Temptation of Christ, Keitel brought an intensity that resonated deeply with the director. Harvey was there from the start, Scorsese reflected. He helped me find my voice. Then, of course, there is Joe Pesci, whose ability to switch from charming to terrifying made him an invaluable part of Scorsese's world.
I'm in the middle of the fucking weeds, laying down. He comes over, he said, what are you doing? I said, I'm resting. Here, you resting? Got a fucking beach in a park. I said, I'm resting. I know I'm resting.
Joe is a force of nature, Scorsese said. His performances in Goodfellas and Casino are legendary for a reason. He doesn't just act, he detonates. Despite his deep love for cinema's past, Scorsese is always looking forward, and he has championed several actors from the modern era. One such figure is Adam Driver, whom he cast in Silence.
The faith. That's not possible. Father Ferreira risked his life to spread our faith all over Japan.
What you see before you is a great actor, a great screen presence, whether it's the HBO shows or whether it's Black Klansman or the Patterson.
Adam is one of the best, if not the best, actors of his generation, Scorsese declared. He immerses himself in every role completely. Scorsese has also praised younger actors like Timothée Chalamet, expressing interest in working with him in the future, and has given his seal of approval to performances by Joaquin Phoenix and Daniel Day-Lewis. Daniel is something else entirely, Scorsese has said of Day-Lewis. Watching him act is like watching a master sculptor at work. For Scorsese, cinema is a deeply collaborative art, and no aspect of filmmaking is more essential to him than performance. Whether through his lifelong partnerships with De Niro and DiCaprio, his admiration for Golden Age legends, or his encouragement of rising stars, Scorsese's career has been defined by an unwavering appreciation for great actors. Cinema is about humanity, he once said, and humanity is in the face, the voice, the movement of an actor. That's where the magic is.